Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my good golly gosh. Your boy DL47 all day for real. Popping off as much rugby league information as possible, and so you don't miss any crucial rugby league information, watch this video all the way through to the end as per always. This time, the Gold Coast Seagulls 1992 wouldn't spoon in the Australian Rugby League, and something absolutely unthinkable happened. Something that's absolutely disastrous and calamitous happened for poor old Gold Coast Seagulls. They should have avoided the wooden spoon, but because of this disaster, because of this careless mismanagement of a certain game, that's why they ended up with the wooden spoon in 1992. So, who's this team, the Gold Coast Seagulls? That's not the Gold Coast Titans who are in the comp right now. It's a previous incarnation of Gold Coast. This incarnation of Gold Coast were in the competition the years 1988 up to 1998. They called themselves the Gold Coast Giants 1988 and 1989. They called themselves the Gold Coast Seagulls 1990 up to 1996. And then they called themselves the Gold Coast Chargers 1997 and 1998 in fact. And during these 11 years, 1997 was the one decent year they had where they made the finals. The only time they made the finals. 1997 first final, they beat Illawarra Steelers 25-14, which is easily the best win in their history. But the next final, they were eliminated, losing to Roosters 32 points to 10 in 1997. But, like I said, 1991, 1992 and 1993, they got the wooden spoon. And every other year, they finished no higher than fourth last. So every year except 1997, they were fourth last or worse on the ladder. That's just the way they were, and it wasn't due to any lack of effort. And with all due respect, they were just a dead set useless rugby league team. They tried hard. They at least stayed in the comp for 11 years, which is a fair amount of time, but they lacked the class, the quality, the experience of players that the other teams had. They also lacked depth when there was any injuries, and they also lacked good coaching and good management both on and off the field. And that's the reason for their eternal struggle before they eventually dissolved at the end of the 1998 season. The only players like of any note that they did produce, they had some outside backs called Danny Peacock and Shane Russell. And those two, while they were hot and cold and while they didn't always play well, when they were switched on, they could score some excellent long-range tries for them every now and then. Like a few little highlights every here and there, every now and then. And in the halves, they actually had King Wally, of all people, one of the immortals. King Wally Lewis played for them 1991 and 1992, and a player of his ilk, one of the greatest of all time. He could, he couldn't even improve them, get them competitive, get them winning on a regular basis. And they also had legendary South Sydney Rabbitohs halfback Craig Coleman, who was a legendary figure for South throughout the 1980s. He played a couple of years for Gold Coast mid-90s. And again, got him a few wins here and there, but generally found going tough, couldn't get them winning games on a regular basis either. The only other players of note they had in the forwards, they had at one point a hooker called Ray Herring, and at another point a hooker called Jamie Goddard, who were both excellent hookers. Jamie Goddard, of course, played for Queensland State of Origin. And there's an infamous State of Origin match in 1997 where Jamie Goddard playing for Queensland knocks out Andrew Johns playing for New South Wales, gets him in the jaw and floors him in an awesome shot. I think that was like the cattle dog call. And Gold Coast Seagulls had second rows, Peter Gill and Brett Horsnell. They were classy second rows. They could get away a few good offloads. They could get a few tries here and there. You know, they could unsettle the other team's defences sometimes. But like I said, there's only like a few things going right for the Gold Coast sometimes in different sections of games. They were definitely not renowned for putting 80 minutes of quality football together on a regular basis, and that's why they've lost nearly all their games. They played 244 games in their history, and they only ever won 52 games, had 9 draws and lost 183 of those 244 games. So believe it or not, the overall losing percentage was 3/4 exactly. It was exactly 75%, 183 out of 244 games that they managed to lose. Unfortunately for them. And like I said, with all due respect to them, and I'm not trying to be too harsh and try and tear them down, but yeah, I give the honest, cold, hard, brutal facts in these rugby league videos. That's why I do it. It's the whole point of it. They just were not very good at all. And this wooden spoon in particular, like I said, particularly frustrating because of the particular game in round 3, which we'll get to. But first of all, we've got to do the stats. So in 1992, from the 22 games, Gold Coast won 6, lost 15 and drew 1 game. 13 competition points to begin with. The key words are to begin with. Whereas Parramatta had finished in equal last place and had also won exactly 6, lost exactly 15 and drew exactly 1 game in 1992. They have 13 points as well. Parramatta's for and against, they scored 276 points, conceded 491 in 1992, minus 215. whereas Gold Coast had scored 288 and conceded 423, for and against minus 135 points in 1992. So then, if they both finished on 13 competition points and the Gold Coast had a slightly better for and against, why then did Gold Coast still end up with the wooden spoon? Well, like I said, that's why you need to watch this video all the way through to the end, because we're not up to that yet. I will get to that reason in a few minutes. You need to keep watching. And the scorers, though, okay, the scorers were slightly better than in 1991. And at least Wayne Bartram, he was their leading point scorer in 1991. He got 38 points from 4 tries and 11 goals in 1991. Or 1992, he got 42 points, a bit more. He got 3 tries and 15 goals, 42 points. But then, very disappointingly, their other point scorers, there was a player called Craig Weston playing in the centres, and he got 2 tries, 14 goals, 36 points for them in 1992. And that was bitterly disappointing because Craig Weston was a rated rookie in 1992. He had unlimited and untapped potential. He was touted as being like the next big thing, the next like rugby league superstar. Was expected to have a long and successful career, but unfortunately that just didn't eventuate, and he didn't last in first grade very long, only getting 36 points in 1992, and he only played a few more years and got a few more points for them after that, so he never fulfilled his enormous potential, and never did Dale Shearer, of all people, while he was at the club. Dale Shearer, of course, fulfilled his outstanding potential previously when he was with Manly and with Brisbane Broncos before Gold Coast. But in 1992, a player of Dale Shearer's calibre could only get 1 try and 11 goals, 26 points. And if you don't know who Dale Shearer is, he was nicknamed Brownie Shearer, and he was one of the most gifted, most freakish attacking players ever in the history of the game. And he played many years for Manly in the 1980s, and then Brisbane also. I think after he played for Gold Coast Seagulls, I think he then went to South Queensland Crushers. He might have played 1 year with Roosters before he retired, but like I said, he struggled to score any points at the Seagulls, but all the other teams he played for, Queensland as well and State of Origin, heaps of times, all the other teams he played for, he was always piling on tries left, right, and centre. You know what I mean? He could play anywhere in the backs, fullback, wing, or centre. He could do kick and chase tries. He could step past his opposite player and score tries. He could get flick passes away and set up the winger to score. He was just a freakishly talented attacking player, and a player of his absolutely legendary status could only get 26 points for Gold Coast Seagulls in 1992, which is absolutely horribly disappointing. Then, some other scorers for them in 1992. They had the second rower, the interchange forward, I should say, Steve Jackson, and the outside back, Danny Peacock, both get 6 tries and no goals, 24 points. And they also had the hooker, Ray Herring, and the winger, Clinton Moore, both get 5 tries and no goals, 20 points for them. So then, now we're going to explain exactly why they had a better for and against than Parramatta, but still got the wooden spoon. So, it boiled down to this game right here. The 1992 round 3 game, it was their moment in the sun to begin with, but it was also their most embarrassing moment in the final wash-up. To begin with, 1992 round 3, they managed to beat Illawarra Steelers 18 points to 8, which was huge, which was monstrous, which was absolutely monstrous, because if you've watched my previous wooden spoon videos, you heard me say that Illawarra got 3 wooden spoons, 1985, 1986, and 1999, and how much they struggled throughout the 1980s, which they did. But I also said that Illawarra Steelers played much better in the 1990s, and 1992 was easily the Steelers' best ever season. They made the top 5 finals for the first time in 1992, finishing in 3rd place, and they fell just 1 game short of the 1992 grand final when they lost the preliminary final to St George 4-0, only after they had 2 fair tries denied in the second half. So they should have, in fact, made the 1992 grand final. So Illawarra, easily the second best team in 1992. So the Gold Coast languishing down in last place to beat them was absolutely incredible, 18 points to 8. But after that, it was found that Gold Coast had actually breached the interchange rule, and they had used 1 replacement player too many in that game. They'd used 5 replacement players instead of 4, and that's why they had their 2 competition points taken away from them. And at the end of the day, that's why they ended the season with 11 competition points, not 13. So that's why Gold Coast got the spoon and Parramatta finished second last. So Parramatta only very luckily avoided the 1992 wooden spoon. So then, all that's left now, so this is going to be a long video, at least 10 minutes, maybe more. The only thing now is the other games that Gold Coast did manage to win fair and square, or get a draw fair and square in 1992. And for some reason, they'd always lived against Parramatta and against Newcastle, not just in 92, but other seasons as well. For some reason, they played well against Parramatta and against Newcastle, against those two teams in particular. Who knows why? So, after that 1992 round 3 win, they had the points taken away. 1992 round 6, they won fair and square and beat Canberra 12-10. 1992 round 8, a big win over Parramatta, like I said, 26 points to 6. In 1992 round 12, a 20 points to 6 win over South Sydney Rabbitohs. And 1992 round 15, I've actually seen some old highlights of this one. They went to Leichhardt Oval and got a away win, a very good win over Balmain 26-14, and I've seen the old footage of that game. They actually played excellent. Definitely not expected, but they did. They beat Balmain 26-14 at Leichhardt. Leichhardt always a hard place to go and play. 1992, round 20, yeah, incredibly a 20-all draw in round 20. They drew with Newcastle 20-all in round 20, which I find quite bewildering. And then, I've done a video for this game previously, 1992 round 22. They managed to beat Penrith 12 points to 8 in what was King Wally Lewis' final of the game, and he just happened to get the match-winning try, which was a dazzling solo try to get sent off with a deserved victory this last of the game for them. So there you go. Gold Coast, yeah, very, very tricky 1992 wooden spoon. But the next wooden spoon, Gold Coast Seagulls in 1993, definitely not tricky. In 1993, Gold Coast Seagulls, they managed one measly win for the whole season. I kid you not. One win and 21 losses from the 22 games. And at one point, okay, the only game they won was in round 6, where they beat Newcastle 22-6. Like I said, they're always playing good against Newcastle. So in 1993, after having that win in round 6 against Newcastle, they then lost the last 16 consecutive games to get yet a third straight wooden spoon, with lots of embarrassing scorelines as well. So stay tuned for that. If you watched all the way through to the end as per requested, thank you so much for not missing any essential rugby league information, especially when it takes a lot of undoing, untangling and explaining as this did. That's the way it is sometimes. And thank you so much for ongoing, continued pulverising, brutal, malevolent support. Your boy all day, DL47 Turtle.